Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We got a lot of things to be thankful for, a lot of things to be joyful for. Even when things get crazy, even when we're in the mucky muck, there's always something to smile about. Let's not forget that. But anyway, guys, we got some updates, and this is crazy. But I'm telling you right now, we're about to get into some conversations here. Let me just say that, okay? And there's some new information that has come out, and let me be real. I can't stress how dangerous stuff like this can be. Let me repeat myself one more time. I don't think y'all even realize how dangerous some of these things can be. First off, we got some updates revolving around the crash that recently happened. Of course, we are getting some updates. There's some new footage as well that we are going to be taking a look at. All right. So we are going to be talking about that quite a bit. There's also some updates on a person that was falsely named and accused, guys. Yes. So we got that to talk about as well, and a bunch of other things that are going on revolving around this tragic thing that happened in DC. All right. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it. Do what it do. All right. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms, like if you are watching on the TikTok, which I'm live on right now. If you're watching on any of these other platforms, please be sure to hit that reaction button. If you are watching on those platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the Rumbles, please be sure to hit that follow button. Follow. Of course, do not forget, if you are watching on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. I got a secondary channel as well. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Go and check it out. Take some time and take a gander over on the second channel. Okay? I don't know what that accent was. Just roll with me, okay? So hit that subscribe button over there as well. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random and a lot of times it's breaking news. So show some love and subscribe on both channels. Hit that notification bell. Hit that join button down below. Become a member of the family, please and thank you. Of course, you can also check out Patreon. You can also check out my locals, and you can also check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, guys. And no, it's not just t-shirts with little sayings on it, which we do have those things too, but we also have customized t-shirts and hoodies of all kinds. Go check it out. It's some dope stuff, and they're handmade by yours truly. Yes, I'm a creative mother lover. It's a blessing and a curse a lot of times, all right? So go check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We have got to get into this. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every single last one of y'all. I really do appreciate you guys being here, spending the time with us, and being a part of this conversation, because we do need to bring awareness to this. We do need to have some more conversations about things like this, because this is some dangerous, I think potentially dangerous stuff. We are going to get into that conversation in just a minute, okay? But there are a lot of conversations, there's a lot of updates, and there's a lot of things that we need to talk about. So let's get straight into the meat and potatoes, because I know a lot of us have things to do today. All right? So first and foremost, all right, these are just some of the updates, and we're just going to scroll through a lot of these real quick so that everyone knows what the heck is going on, because, again, we're all curious about what has happened here. All right. So let us, one is for sure, there's a lot that's going on. Okay. So they are saying DCA is open. All right. And operating normally after this crash. So the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, DCA, is operating normally today following Wednesday's aircraft collision that took the life of more than 60 people. 67 people to be exact. There were 64 lives on the on the plane or on this jet, and there was 3 lives in the helicopter. Okay, in that Black Hawk helicopter, which of course is tragic. 67 people perished. Now, let me just say this too. This is what I mean, and I'm sprinkling a little bit, little peppering, if you will. Okay, giving you guys a little breadcrumbs into the main conversation here shortly, which is this is why it's really important to wait for information to come out before people start saying things that aren't true. Just a few days ago, when this whole thing dropped, when this tragedy happened, there were rumors about 4 survivors being pulled out of the water and all that. And we've all seen the footage, have we not? We've all seen the footage. And the footage says everything to me, which is there is no way, unless there was some miracle, that anyone would have survived that crash. That's people in the airplane and people in the helicopter. Let's not forget that. We all saw it, and we're going to be seeing new angles of it over here on my YouTube. You're not going to be able to see it here on the TikTok, but you'll be able to see it over there. Just want to let you guys know about that. Again, people were saying all kinds of crazy information out here that was not accurate, aka was not true at all. Some of y'all like to say fake news, and it was all fake news. 67 people lost their lives. And there was and I understand that people want to be the first to say things, but it's crazy how rumors get thrown out here with no backing, no facts to back it up. That's why we wait until we find out what really happened before we start going crazy out here. I'm saying that for a reason right now because of the title you see above or down below, wherever you're watching this show right here. This has the potential to becoming very, very dangerous when information gets thrown out like crazy. But let me continue here, okay? Passengers are encouraged. This is going back to saying the airport is back up and running again, which I'm hoping, by the way, before we even go into that, I'm really, really hoping, oh God, oh please, oh God, I'm hoping that this airport, any person that's involved in any of this stuff, wakes the F up and they do everything they can to start implementing new procedures, new structures to everything. You got to remember, they said something along the lines of 700 a day. These planes are either taking off or they're landing on this particular runway. That's a lot of planes per day. Okay? Per freaking day. So again, absolutely maddening when you hear about that and then something like this happens. Remember, that's a lot of traffic. That's a lot of air traffic. And then, of course, this tragedy happens. Again, I'm hoping that this woke them wide open, like woke them up all the way up. Okay, after feeling like they just drank 7 Red Bulls and said, we got to do something about this and we need to fix things now because we got a lot of lives on our hands. That's everything from the airport itself, air traffic control, and then some. Then on top of it, let's not forget, sup with the Black Hawk. Yeah, sup with that too. Let's not forget that too. You got 3 lives, 3 people that served our country that somehow T-boned a plane. I got to hit the button. T-boned a plane. Make that make sense. In an area that is high traffic, high airline traffic, over several hundreds of planes taking off and landing in that area right there. So the Black Hawk, why would that helicopter be flying anywhere near that area, period, point blank? And I know that they say that there are people that are helicopters, military helicopters and aircraft that fly in that area all the time. Well, they need to start changing that like right now. It should have been changed before, but now that's weird to me. And I'd be scared to fly out of DCA, out of the Reagan National Airport. I'd be scared. I don't know about you, but I'm not the biggest fan of flying. So again, this would not make me feel any easier. I'd be like, road trip? We're doing a road trip, but we going to Hawaii. Well, we'll swim once we hit water, we just gonna swim. All right, we'll be fine. I'm serious. That stuff is terrifying. So, just so you know, passengers are encouraged to check with their airlines for delays and cancellations. That's what the post reads here when they posted this on X. And of course, there's going to be a lot of delays because, let's be real, this tragedy just happened. Of course, there's going to be there's going to be some delays for sure. Okay. Now, an Ohio student lost their life in the crash as well. They were returning to campus after their grandfather's funeral. That's terrible. Okay. This student from Cedarville University, her name was Grace Maxwell. She was on the American Eagle flight after attending her grandfather's funeral. The university said in a press conference this morning. Thomas White, the president of the Ohio College, told reporters that he spoke to Maxwell's father, Grace's father, yesterday after the news broke of the crash. I talked to her dad. I said, what can we do? This is what the president of the college said. There's no words that make this okay. There's nothing that makes this easier. I can't say anything that takes away your hurt or your pain. White said Maxwell's father revealed that she was on the plane because she was returning back to campus in Ohio after attending funeral services for her grandfather in her hometown of Wichita, Kansas. Okay, can you imagine losing a parent and 7 days later losing a child? This is what the president of the college said. All right. And they also said that Maxwell had been a junior majoring in mechanical engineering and that the college grieves the loss of a great student. Now, we already know about there being a figure skating team, if I'm correct, for lack of a better word or term, that was on the plane as well. And so there are a few updates about that, which we'll get to here in just a second. But there was a Mississippi National Guard officer that lost their life in the collision as well. Mississippi Governor Reeves announced that a member of his state's National Guard lost their life Wednesday during this collision as well. Reeves identified the officer as Chief Warrant Officer 2, Andrew Eves, adding that Mississippi is mourning his loss. So Ellie and I are praying for the victims' families and first responders who are assisting. And of course, that was him referring to his wife as well. FAA implements new helicopter restrictions in DC. So it's about doggone time. Okay. So it's about doggone time that they implement new restrictions for helicopters in the mother-loving area. This should have been done a long time ago, but of course, yeesh. So the FAA has issued new flight restrictions for the helicopters in the in the Washington D.C. area and the Reagan National Airport DCA. This is what the agency tells the news right now. Zone 1, which covers the airspace between certain bridges, is currently not active. In Zone 4, helicopters are now only permitted to fly south of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. The FAA said exceptions will be made for medical evacuation and law enforcement operations. Now, of course, these things are implemented now. Hopefully, these kind of things stick and stay. Like I said, it still does not make any sense that you have a helicopter just flying straight into a plane. It's still, I'm sorry, but it still does not make any sense. No, I'm not sitting here trying to speculate or not trying to throw out conspiracies. I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat. I'm just talking about facts. This just does not make sense. This doggone helicopter T-boned a plane. Any person, any layman, any average Joe could look at that and go, that doesn't make sense. How could they not see the plane? Remember, they even said that on the plane, they even had night vision goggles or night vision glasses, whatever you want to call them, goggles on the doggone plane. We heard that from President Trump. He said it with his own mouth. He said a lot of things with his own mouth. But one thing is that he said that they had night vision goggles on the plane. So again, they had their lights on. We're going to look at the footage again here soon. They had the lights on, their lights on. The plane most definitely had their own lights on. And any person that is in the world of aviation is going to know the difference between, oh, those are helicopter lights or that's lights of a plane. Let's be real. They know their stuff. You would assume or hope that they would know their stuff, whoever's operating that helicopter, right? That they would know, oh, that's a plane over there. Oh, there's a helicopter over there. There's another plane over there. Okay, they're all en route to land here. Okay, that makes sense. So I see that plane. You know what I mean? Especially if you're flying like this, okay, perpendicular to the plane. Here's the helicopter. Here's the plane, right? And it's doing this. You're telling me you don't see this plane? I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. Same height, same level. It wasn't like there were, helicopters up here and the planes down here, and maybe they just didn't see them. Same level. 400 feet off the ground. Clearly the jet is going a lot faster than the helicopter. But you tell me you don't see no plane? Yeah, Tammy. Damn right. The math most definitely ain't mathin'. It's not. So again, sorry for raising my voice, but it's just frustrating, right? Yeah, and TKS daddy on the TikTok. Yes, the plane was descending for sure, but at the same time, you would see this still. It wasn't like it was underneath them, and just came up from the ground. It was coming down, and you got this helicopter flying in. Man, let me just do this. And then you got the helicopter flying in, right? Say this plane is coming down, right? It's going down like this. You got the helicopter flying. You're still seeing the plane. It's right in front of you. It might be off to your left a little bit, but you can see that. It's not like this plane just came out from under. So again, it just doesn't make sense. Okay? And you know what? I keep thinking that something was up on that plane, on that helicopter too. Okay, glitter diva. I truly believe that's something, but that's what I feel in my heart. I don't know because I still want to hold back and hear what they got to say about everything. Because this kind of accident, this is not something. This is uncanny. Okay, this is uncanny. So maybe the pilot of the helicopter was going through some mental health issues. Maybe something happened on the helicopter. Because you got to remember, there's 3 soldiers on that plane. Hear me out. 3 different soldiers on that plane, on that helicopter. I'm sorry. There was no struggle. There was nobody taking over the plane to stop it from going straight into a plane. See what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. You have a pilot and a co-pilot in the helicopter. Then you have a third person in the ride as well. None of them tried to stop. None of them tried to stop whoever was that directed this helicopter into the plane. There was no struggle, no nothing. You see what I'm saying? There's something's off. And that's not conspiracy. That's just fact. It seems like something's off. Something's really, really off. Now, hold on, guys. I got to grab something here. You guys on TikTok won't be able to see this. I'm just getting this so I don't forget real quick. Okay. Hopefully I can find this real quick. 1 second, guys. Yep. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a clip that I need to pull up for what we're about to discuss here in just a minute. But again, see, this just doesn't make any earthly sense. But nonetheless, I do, and you guys aren't going to be able to see this on TikTok. Come on over to my YT. Apparently, you can't say the name over here, but go over to my YouTube. I'm going to say YouTube channel. Check it out here because we're going to be looking at this as well. All right. See, and that's what I feel too grateful. Like the footage itself, which we are going to look at this new angle real quick. And we do still have some new updates. We are going to talk about that here in a second. It is insulting. I feel like it's insulting to us as critical thinking, smart. I'm just even saying us regular layman mother lovers out here in these streets. Okay. Us regulars, who know it is simple, even us simpletons that just know that 2 + 2 = 4. All right. Looks at this footage and goes, something ain't smelling right. Something ain't smelling right here. Right. But here's some new footage. And there's voiceover. So I'm gonna get rid of the voiceover. But I want you guys to see this new footage. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is the helicopter right here, if I'm correct. All right, let's take a look at this. And you guys aren't going to be able to see it over here. Just give us a few seconds. I'll explain everything in just a minute, okay? TikTok fam, just so you know. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so as you can see, look at that. It's a deliberate, directional attack.
Waters of the Potomac River, prompting a massive search and rescue operation. But despite the rescue crew's best efforts, all of the passengers are feared dead, making it the deadliest U.S. air crash in nearly 24 years.
We are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation.
So this went from rescue to recovery. But this footage right here is absolutely insane. Is there another press briefing right now? Let me see. That would be good to know if there's another press briefing. Hold on, I'm checking.
Again on Thursday morning, and he has continued to receive updates as recovery efforts continue on the ground. Okay. The president, as you know.
All right, we may pull that up in a little while. He was one of the pilots was giving an interview. Ooh, that's good to know. Great. Yeah, there's a presser right now. We'll listen to it in a little bit. I think right now they're just giving us the same stuff that we're talking about right now as we speak. You got the press secretary going up there and speaking and all that. And we'll I'll look at that here in a second. Okay. But that's very interesting about the Black Hawk pilot speaking out and, of course, doing an interview. We're going to take a look at that as well. But I want you guys to see this, okay? One thing at a time, because there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of things going on. If something big drops in that press conference, instead of them blaming just everyone under the sun, anyone under the sun, and making scapegoats, trying to blame, create scapegoats out of this situation. If it's anything outside of that, we will look into it. Okay. But let's take a look at this too. All right. You see this right here. It's a big ball of light. That is the actual helicopter flying. It's flying.
This is the moment to read.
Then you got, and I'm going to mute it, the sound. Then you see right here. So it's like two little specks, but you can see the plane is going down, right? Like in its descent. It's about to land. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that helicopter is just there. Again, it just doesn't make any bloody sense. Something is not right here. I know you guys can't see it. It's on my channel. Okay. It's on YouTube. Go over to YouTube, check it out. Okay. But again, there's going to be some things I'm going to be showing that you guys can't see on the TikTok. I'll explain as we go. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Big ball of light, helicopter flying. You got the plane coming down, right? Like this. This helicopter knows what's going on. They can't, it's impossible for them not to see that. Truly. And that's the thing that doesn't make any sense. They T-boned the plane, guys. They T-boned the doggone plane. That's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. All right. Hold on. I got to pull something up here. Sorry, but you know how it be. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hold on. There's a lot more. There's a lot of info, a lot of stuff going on. Now I'm looking at where this interview was done. I don't see anything about that interview. Hold on. But let me show you guys this. Hopefully we'll see. Yeah, these are pretty clear. These are pretty damn clear. Okay, so this is from CNN. And of course, we're looking at multiple different news sites. So don't at me about it being CNN or Fox News or anything of that sort. We're getting all the information from a multitude of different news sites. Okay, so everybody tranquilo. All right, but CNN reported this and showed different angles, and there's a different angle on this one. So I wanted to share this one with you guys too.
And higher than it should have been. We'll get much more to that. Let's get to the videos. The first video we want to show you, the bright light that you see at the top.
Let me roll that back. She just said, what? Hold on.
And vantage
and I'll repeat it here.
Of the midair tragedy between the American Eagle's flight and the Black Hawk helicopter. A warning, these videos are difficult to see as we are also learning more about these 67 lives that were lost in this collision. This morning, the New York Times is reporting that the helicopter may have been flying outside of its approved flight path and higher than it should have been.
Boom! Okay. New York Times reports that the helicopter may have been flying outside its approved flight plan. And then on top of this thing, they're even saying that the helicopter was flying at a higher altitude than permitted. Now, take it with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you right now, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. Okay? Okay, I'm done. I'm going to continue playing this now. And I'm not wearing the tinfoil hat. This is just information that's being given to us. Make it make sense. Does that make sense, guys? No, it doesn't. The plane was T-boned by a doggone highest grade military helicopter that can maneuver, do all kinds of amazing things. High-powered aircraft. And that aircraft T-boned this mother-loving plane. Someone make that make sense. They may have been flying outside their approved flight path, and they were flying at a higher altitude than permitted. Period. Those Black Hawks are auto too. So they have an auto. They have like a Gen X Bunny just said on TikTok, those Black Hawks are auto too. So they can just go on autopilot. If that's true, that's insane too. So maybe those three were unalived before it made contact to the plane. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, something about this is off, y'all. Flying the wrong flight path at a higher altitude than permitted. Those things are wrong.
We'll get much more to that.
We're watching CNN right now. Real
The
quick,
first
guys.
video we want to show you, the bright light that you see at the top is the American Airlines jet as it approached the runway. Then you see the helicopter.
You can see that is the cleanest, clearest visage, okay? This is the cleanest footage we've seen of the plane meeting the helicopter so far. Look at that. Take it back a few seconds. Look at that, y'all.
Let's get to the video. The first video we want to show you. The bright light that you see at the top is the American Airlines jet as it approached the runway. Then you see the helicopter flying directly into the frame and directly into the plane. Both aircraft immediately then crashing down into the Potomac River.
You got to be kidding me, y'all. That is clear. So let's just be real. One thing that Trump did say that I actually do agree with, okay? All right, is that he said it was a perfect day. It was a perfect night, clear night. The jet was doing exactly what it was told to do. It did nothing wrong. It was going on its descent down to get to its final destination. This plane was perfect, as he would say, right? Remember when he said the calls were perfect? It was a perfect call, right? So same thing here. This plane was doing everything to the T. It was a clear night. It wasn't like it was a blizzard or a rainstorm going on outside. Nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. So you mean to tell me a helicopter that's not supposed to be flying in that area at all didn't see this plane on a perfect, clear, blue night? I'll play that footage one more time again. Look at that.
The bright light that you see at the top is the American Airlines jet as it approached the runway. Then you see the helicopter flying directly into the frame and directly into the plane. Both aircraft immediately then crashing down into the Potomac River.
It feels like like watching a movie or like seeing a video game. It's terrifying. But again, guys, on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see it. I'm showing it on my YouTube, but I'm describing it here to you guys. But it's very, very clear. It's very clean. The cleanest footage that we've seen since this crash actually happened. Okay, this is pretty damn clean. This is insane. And then, of course, there's more. So we're going to take a look at this other piece here too.
It appears to be surveillance video from the airport and showing the very same helicopter moving along the river as the plane approaches the runway at DC.
Helicopter T-boned that thing, man. Sorry. Helicopter T-boned that plane. Helicopter, I repeat, T-boned that plane. Period. Unbelievable. How's that even possible? How is that even possible? Now, I got a few things. There's another update that just came up, so I want to share this with you guys, okay? Let me share that with y'all real quick. It says American Airlines retires flight number 5342. So the flight number of the American Eagle jet that collided with the military helicopter near Reagan National Airport will be retired. American Airlines announced today. American Eagle is a network of regional carriers owned and operated by American Airlines. The flight traveling from Wichita to Reagan International Airport tonight will operate as American Airlines Flight 5677, according to the airline. Flight AA, American Airlines 5342, will not be used for any future American Airlines flights. This is what the airline said. Retiring flight numbers is a common practice following major aviation accidents. So American Airlines flight number 5342 will indefinitely be retired. Okay, will definitely be retired out of respect to all the victims, the 64 that lost their lives on that plane. Again, let me remind you, 64 individuals lost their lives on that American Airlines regional jet. 3 other soldiers lost their lives on that Black Hawk helicopter as well. So 67 individuals lost their lives. And of course, all of us are still reeling over this situation and still trying to figure out how could this have happened at all. Again, this is some crazy stuff. University of Delaware confirms loss of figure skater coach. So Sasha Kirsanov, a figure skater coach at the University of Delaware, lost their life in this crash. So they say, with a heavy heart, we struggle to express the impact of this tragedy on our Blue Hen community. This is what the University of Delaware's athletic director said. Coach Sasha Kirsanov's presence was felt deeply in our ice arenas, where he devoted countless hours to the UD Figure Skating Club. And of course, they're adding that his passion and commitment touched many lives, leaving a permanent mark on our campus. And of course, may Sasha rest in peace. This is a terrible thing. Again, this is a terrible, terrible situation. And of course, the more and more information slowly but surely going to be coming out for sure. Now, S-Dubs, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. A former Black Hawk pilot said there were 3 problems. 1, only 3 pilots should be at least. Oh, only 3 pilots. There should have been at least 4. Oh, 2, helicopters should be flying at higher altitude. Interesting. Because what we're hearing from the news, they're saying that, and let me just make sure let me quote that correctly, because God forbid we quote the wrong thing, but they're saying that they were at a higher altitude than permitted. And that's talking about the helicopter itself. So I don't know. That's very interesting. Okay. But the first part is interesting, that there's only 3 pilots on there, and there should have been at least 4. That part is very interesting as well. Again, they kept on saying that this whole thing, at least with the helicopter, it was a routine training exercise. What does that pertain? What does that exactly mean? Because that can mean so many different things, y'all. It really can. So when you say, oh yeah, this was a routine, a routine training exercise, what were they training for? What were they running? What drills were they doing? And why were they doing those drills so close to a doggone airport? Especially an airport that has such high air traffic to begin with. Several hundreds of takeoffs and landings on that very runway. So make that make sense again. I'm going to keep saying that because it just doesn't make sense. All right? It just doesn't. Now, Dom, thank you so much for this, because thank you so much for the super chat, but this also helps with the segue into the conversation that we're about to have right now. Now, here's the thing. There's been a lot of allegations that have been popping out as of late. And what's really interesting is that, well, we have to take a little trip down memory lane, first and foremost. First off, I feel like the origin of this particular pilot getting falsely accused started right here. And the reason why I say that, and just ride with me, because I know there's a lot of people that are supporters out here, Trump supporters, so tranquilo, but I do feel like this is the start of it all. And I feel like any person with, as he says, common sense would understand and know that this is where it all started. Again, a pilot, or just so you know, a pilot was falsely accused of being one of the pilots in the helicopter, only to find out that that pilot is alive and well. They literally took this particular soldier's name and blasted it all over the internet, put this person's life at risk, to be really honest, solely because of what we heard from our president just yesterday. Now, if you guys don't remember, first off, Dom, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. How can you falsely accuse someone? That's Yeah, I agree. It's absolute trash. But here's the thing. Trump went in here. Now, here's the thing. Jamie Smith, no, he did not say anyone's name. But he came in, and the first thing he said, well, one of the things that he said, aside from him touching on the fact that that there were so many individuals and souls were lost, he went straight into a whole rant about DEI. Oh, no. Yes, and before everybody gets at me, hold on. Time out. Tranquilo. Calm down. But you got to hear me out on this. What he said was not needed, was not warranted. We wanted to hear facts. We wanted to hear information about what happened during this crash. He turned this as an opportunity to put out his own agenda. Remember, DEI started happening during the whole DEI rhetoric happened right when he started to do his campaign. So he won. Congratulations to him. There it is. He is our president all over again. But at the same time, he's been doubling down and using DEI as a scapegoat for this tragedy. Instead of saying, we're going to get down to the bottom of it, we're going to figure all these things out. Whoever needs to get fired will get fired. We will implement new things and we'll get things figured out. But no, he went into a whole thing about DEI and saying it's all because of DEI and the hiring of these people and blah, blah, blah. It was not correct. What information does he have within this investigation that would instantly make him say that he can go on a microphone and say something if he doesn't have any facts to back it up? One of the reporters even asked, hey, are you just kind of getting ahead of the investigation? And, he basically said, no, I'm not. I'm just using common sense. Well, common sense would say that helicopter went into that plane. Common sense would say something happened here that doesn't make sense. It's not instantly, oh, let's blame these particular hires because of, I don't know, their sexual orientation or because of the color of their skin or because they are women with their gender or something of that sort. That is wrong. But I want to share this with you guys because, again, there's other things that he did say in a part of here that isn't in this clip that I did agree with. Meaning, for example, that he's like, it doesn't make sense. It was a perfect day. It was a perfect night. You could see the plane. You could see this, blah, 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 right? Those things I agree with. Those things I completely understand, and I'm with him 100%. But to instantly sit there and say, oh, because of DEI, okay. I think that's when you get a little bit sloppy. But let me just say this. Let me just play this, okay, so that we can relive this really quick before we get into the conversation at hand.
Office, they put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, actually their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress where you have many, many planes coming into one target.
Okay, so he instantly says that. He said a lot of things, but that was one piece in which he said this piece or that piece, okay? Now, he has said a bunch of other things, which I'm sorry, you could be a supporter of his or not. It doesn't matter. I think that it's fair to look at something hear somebody say what they're saying and go, wait a second, something is a little bit weird here, right? Something is a little off. Now, hold on. And I feel like it's backed with no proof. If you're still doing an investigation, let's find out what's going on first before we get reckless out here, right? Now, hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to pull this thing up. Where the heck is it? Shoot. One second, guys. Okay, here it is. Here's the other piece. This is the other part, okay, that I want to share with y'all. All right? Again.
Today, blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time, and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system, and then we had an election that didn't turn out the way it should have. But
today,
hold
blamed
on.
the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
it's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense.
Purely because of common sense, he is saying that this is the reason. Common sense, he says, instantly gut reaction, DEI. I'm the only reason why I'm bringing this up, because again, like I said before, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you stand on. Sure, we can have a debate all day long about DEI hires and whether you agree with him or not all day long. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the common human decency of being our leader, getting up on a microphone and saying certain things that don't have any backing. If you don't have the proof yet, why are you going out here and saying these things? Especially, and this is really important. This is really, really important. You guys I can't stress this enough. It is extremely important, especially when you are someone that has that microphone, that has that power. As soon as he says one thing, he can sit there and say, eating M&Ms can cure cancer. You don't think everybody and their mama going to go out there and buy some M&Ms? They're going to be out of stock because there's going to be a lot of people that believe what he says is true. And that's exactly what happened here. As soon as this press conference happened, people were scouring the earth, scouring the internet, trying to find any person that would fit this DEI narrative. And what happened? This happened. A particular person who happens to be trans, is also a Black Hawk pilot, was wrongfully named as the person who was actually flying or one of the pilots in this DC crash. Yes. And what's even really crazy about this is that this particular person, Joe Ellis, is still alive. Everybody and their mama was scouring the internet trying to find anything to fit that narrative. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you are on. This is common sense. Knowing that when you have that kind of power on a microphone, on that kind of pedestal, on that kind of platform, it is crucial that you're really watching what you're saying. If you're talking wireless on these microphones, it can be very, very detrimental to other people's lives. Sorry, but that's what's going on. And the thing is I didn't expect this to happen at all. I'll be honest. I did not expect this to happen at all. But I will say this, though. As soon as we see a mass tragedy of the kinds with the pew-pews, all right? A monster walks into a school, goes into a mall, goes into a concert, goes into a huge public area and does something terrible. Instantly, people are trying to find out who those people are. We see it countless times on this show. We'll be watching the stuff, breaking the news live on the show. We're watching it. We're doing our thing. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, somebody will be like, oh, no, he's such and such. Okay? It's not a he, it's a she. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's a trans person. It's this, that, and the third. Over and over and over again. Only to find out that 99.9% of the time, they mother loving wrong. So then when we see something like this, and we're hearing our president get on a microphone and say, DEI, instantly everyone goes, the people who are those internet sleuths and all that want to break the story first, they want to go viral. They will go and scour the earth trying to find any person that may be of, different race, different gender, or whatever. And they'll plaster it all over the internet. Sometimes, just like what happened in the tragedy at that high school that we just talked about, I forgot the area again now, but instantly, a photo of the girl came out. But instead of everyone just saying, okay, here's the girl, her name is such and such, and that's what it is. The narrative was spreading like wildfire that she was trans when she was not trans. She wasn't even trans. But whatever they can do to let it fit in their mind, that narrative for themselves. And there you go. You have Trump coming out saying something like this, and instantly that feeds into the narrative for the people that want everything to be because of DEI. Here's the thing. We don't know everything yet. You never know. Somebody in that plane operating the jet or one of the pilots of the helicopters could very well be female, could very well be not white, could very well be trans. But we don't have the information yet. Like I said, this is when it gets very dangerous, and people can get hurt when they put out false information on people that have nothing to do with a tragedy. You're seeing it right here. Let's get into this, though. Let's read this. And this Joe Ellis did even make a statement after all this, because this would shake me to the core, too. It's like, I'm alive. If y'all think I flew that, my soul will be standing right next to the pearly gates right now. The heck are you talking about? I'm still breathing. You have the wrong person. Quit putting my name to feed your own political agenda. This is where things are wrong. Like I said, have your own political opinions. Say what you want to say in the chats. All right, by all means. But when you start putting out false information to feed that political agenda, that's where it's wrong. That is where it's wrong. This is somebody's personal life being put on blast and being blamed for something that they didn't even have a part in, just because they happen to be trans. That's ridiculous. Moving into this. And again, this sparked from President Trump getting on a mic and saying all the stuff that he even talked about dwarfism, y'all. Dwarfism. I'm not kidding. He even said that too. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. So let's get into this. So a transgender soldier has spoken out after being incorrectly named as one of the Black Hawk helicopter pilots who passed in the collision with an American Airlines plane in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. So Joe Ellis wrote on Facebook on Friday, today, some craziness has happened on the internet, and I'm being named as one of the pilots of the D.C. crash. Please report any accounts or posts you see. It's insulting to the victims and to the families of those lost, and they deserve better than this BS from the bots and trolls of the internet. So they have contacted Ellis for further comment on Facebook. This is Joe Ellis. She's a Black Hawk pilot. She is trans. She's been named, plastered all over the internets for something that she had no part in. So she spoke out, but we're going to look at that here in a second. Let's continue on. So truth behind rumored DC crash. Black Hawk co-pilot was this transgender servicewoman. So, of course, the pilot was being wrongfully named as one of the 3 U.S. Army personnel flying the helicopter that collided with the plane in Washington, D.C. Joe Ellis, 34, was misidentified, falsely accused, to be really completely real, all right, as the female co-pilot of the doomed chopper on Thursday. So a shaken sounding Ellis picked up the phone when Daily Mail, the article that we're reading here, called them on Friday morning, confirming that she was not gone, that she did not lose her life. Yeah, you hear my voice, I'm still alive, right? So she said, or they said, I'm very much alive. She said the false rumors had, quote unquote, shocked her, with the Pentagon said to be preparing a statement in a bid to debunk the online lies. So Ellis, who previously worked for CNN star Smirkonish, said the slurs are disrespectful to the families of the 67 people who lost their lives on Wednesday night's disaster. On Friday, it emerged the co-pilot of the U.S. Black Hawk, was a female service member on a training sortie. I guess on a training flight. All right? So, she has not been identified yet, allegedly. So, yeah, that's what's interesting. They're saying that Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Eves and Ryan O'Hara from Georgia were the other 2 service personnel on board. So there was 2 men and a woman in that helicopter, in that Black Hawk. All right? These 2 right here. Andrew Eves, Paul O'Hara. And 1 female. The 3rd co-pilot, female co-pilot, has not been named. Again, look for yourself right here. Look. So far, there's 2 in the helicopter. White males. Would you say that this is a DEI hire? Okay. 3rd, they have not named the 3rd. I just saw a comment on TikTok. Amy and Emily basically said the same thing. Why aren't they naming the 3rd name? I don't know. Maybe out of fear? I mean, be real. Let's be real. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't even need to apologize. Let's keep it a bean. You got your leader, president. If this was Biden, if this was Obama, if this was any other president that said this thing on the microphone, I would say the same doggone thing. All right. You know how I roll. If you've watched this show, you know exactly how I roll. I go after Biden when he's wrong. I would go after Obama if he was still in office and I was using this microphone at that time too. I would drag them. Okay. If it was Kamala, I would drag her too. It doesn't matter. Okay. But this is the problem. You have somebody out here, they're saying these certain things, and there may be people or the family that's scared, or the military might be protecting her name because they're worried about the people finding out that she's female. You got to remember, everyone was scouring the earth because they want to find the reason. They want to find the exact reason. I'm telling you, if this is a black female, oh, dear God. Or a female of, a female with some melanin in their skin. Okay, some melanins. All right. You don't think they're going to ride that till the wheels fall off? I'm just saying. As soon as you hear from your leader, then everyone goes, oh, that must be scripture. So now it's going to be like, oh, well, see, what happened was the real reason. This is all her fault now. It's not these two white men. It's not their faults. Oh, hell no, because they're not DEI hires. It's the female. I'm just speaking what we hear. I'm just speaking what we see now. It's become that. Elon Musk is even sharing posts saying, oh, yeah, white men are having a hard time getting a job at in the air traffic control center. They're even sharing articles like that right now. White men are having a hard time getting jobs. And he says, unbelievable or something crazy like that. They're putting this stuff out here. So as soon as they say, oh, there's a third co-pilot, and guess what? She a female. What do you think people are going to do? You know for a fact they already got her name. They're just not putting it out here because they're worried about the backlash. Because now everyone's like, what? She's female? Oh, she was flying that whole thing herself. Those guys were in the back learning how to knit while she's flying that doggone helicopter. She just can't see straight. You can't trust the women. You can't trust these women. They can't even drive, man. These women can't drive either. You know what I'm saying? You're going to let a woman fly a Black Hawk helicopter? That's literally what's happening right now. But at first, it was on this particular individual by the name of Joe Ellis. They said, oh, God, it was female and she's trans? Oh, she can't fly a helicopter. Hell nah. No skills whatsoever. I tell you what, America, God forbid it was a migrant. Just saying. People are crazy out here, and I'm going to keep it real. What he said was wrong. What he said was dangerous. And now you got someone stepping forward and having to debunk the rumor. And instead of us actually going and trying to focus on the loss of these 67 souls, and then also on top of that, figuring out what went wrong so we can fix those things so other people don't lose their lives ever again. We are more focused on whether the person's female or what the color of their skin was before they entered and T-boned the doggone plane. Because you got to remember, it's two white males that were flying the jet. Let's just remind you that too. Two white males were flying the doggone jet. Just saying. But guess what? They're going to try to find the narrative out here, and the crazies that are out here in these streets are going to use everything they can to try to throw other people on the bus because either they don't have a penis or because they have melanin in their skin. It's ridiculous, guys. And this is the problem, because people could also lose their lives like this. Woosah. I want us all to live our lives and be happy, right? What is that? The pursuit of happiness. Okay. I want us all to live our lives under the same roof. We all should be able to live and be happy. Whatever makes you happy, as long as it's not breaking the law, as long as it's consensual, we should be loving each other. We should not be doing this kinds of stuff, focusing on stuff that has nothing to do with what actually happened or why this actually happened. Why aren't we looking at this and trying to figure out if this was about mental health? Why aren't we figuring out if there was a malfunction that happened on the plane or a malfunction that happened in the helicopter? Why are we not focusing on that? Why are we asking whether it was female or male, or, you see what I'm saying, whether it was DEI, which is just a ridiculous myth in my personal opinion? All right? We need to be better as people. We need to be better as a country. We need to be better as a world. But again, I know people get all, in they fee-fees when I say anything that has any push towards our president. Like, I'm just going to sit there and just, yes, sir, what he said is right, DEI. No, I don't agree with that. I don't. Plenty of amazingly gifted and talented individuals that work for us, that keep the world going round, that heal us when we're sick, that protect us when there is things at bay, when there is evil at bay. And I don't give a damn what their gender is or what race they are or what their sexual orientation is. I just want to live a happy life, stay healthy, and be around people I love and that love me. That's what matters. And as long as those people are doing their jobs efficiently, then hell yeah, give them and let them keep that mother-loving job. In fact, here's the other thing too. I'm on this soapbox. I don't give a damn. I'm going to stand on it 10 toes down. Most of the time, the individuals that have gotten these jobs, and they're saying it's DEI, a lot of them have gotten the job because they finally got the job because they really did deserve it. Not because of some nepotism or a friend of a friend of a friend got that hookup. They actually got the job on their own merit. They got the job because they're actually good at what they do. I've said this analogy before, and I'm going to say it again. Do you know how many, for example, if we were looking at the law realm or if we were looking at the medical field, okay, let's just use these two examples, for example. Do you know how many lawyers and doctors, or like lawyers and let's just use plastic surgeons, for example. Well, let's just do surgeons, for example. Do you know how many lawyers and surgeons there are in the world? There's a lot. But they're not all good. They're not all great at what they do. They may have the same credentials, but they're still leaving a scalpel in your body. They're still doing shiesty things behind the patient's back. You still have these lawyers that are trash lawyers, may have gone to Harvard, top of the line, but they are just shiesty people. And guess what? That's all within the whole spectrum of the whole racial spectrum. You got the ambulance, the ambulance chasers, to the high-ranking, very, very intelligent, hardworking lawyers. And all of them, they could all have the same credentials. It's how they get the job done. It's what they do. It's the quality of their work that speaks volumes over who they are and what their vessel, okay, what their soul is contained in. Let's be real. You look at a surgeon and you're like, wow, that surgeon's terrible. I'm surprised you still have your license. Same thing as a lawyer. You are shiesty as hell. You're willing to break several laws just so you can get your client off. That's not right. So again, just because of the color of the skin or the, whether they're trans or not. I mean, I'm just being real. Think about it for a second. Wouldn't you rather have somebody who is, well, one, proud to be there, two, work their butts to be there and is actually getting hired because they're good at their job? Wouldn't you want that? Instead of just somebody because they're male and white? We just got to be better. We just got to be better. But like I said, I'm going to step down from the soapbox for a second. Let's take a look at this video. This is, of course, Joe Ellis saying what they need to say in regards to being accused of being a part of this thing, which, like I said, this is when things get sloppy. We need to be better. We need to be better, y'all. Now, on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see this, okay? But I will try to paraphrase what they said. It's a very short video. So let's just rock and roll.
Interesting morning. This is Joe Ellis. I am a Black Hawk pilot with the Virginia Army National Guard. I understand some people have associated me with the crash in DC, and that is false. It is insulting to the families to try to tie this to some sort of political agenda. They don't deserve that. I don't deserve this. And I hope that you all know that I'm alive and well, and this should be sufficient for you all to end all the rumors. I also have a statement. The Department of Defense is responsible for casualty notifications. There were no Virginia National Guard personnel on that Black Hawk that collided with the jetliner Wednesday evening. Thank you.
Okay. So, of course, Joe Ellis basically said, hey, just so for those y'all on TikTok, they just said, hey, I know that there's been rumors flying around. People are saying that it was me in the plane. That is not me. I'm very much alive, and clearly 67 individuals lost their lives, including the 3 soldiers that were flying that helicopter. How couldn't Joe Ellis be live posting a video on their social media if they're supposed to be perished and still, trying to be found in the Potomac River? Just saying. And of course they said, hey, just so you know, that casualties will be announced elsewhere. And of course, no one from Virginia that was operating, from Virginia was operating that aircraft, that helicopter. And then they ended it. So again, they ended the video. Okay. Now again, this is very sad. Okay. And reckless, because no one deserves this. No one. All right. No one does. But again, there's going to be people out here that are going to try everything they can to move the goalpost as best as they can to fit their own narrative. And Marilyn, you're right. God does not. Let me pull that up. God does not like rumors, indeed. Okay? Yeah, God doesn't. Okay? Let's be real. All right? So let's just wow. J.R. Williams, you are missing the whole thing. You didn't see this whole post? 2 of them? Wow. Some people, like I said, even selective hearing, selective eyesight and everything. Let me show you guys. JR asked this, so I'm gonna show you. I got something for that age. Take a look at this. See? Newsweek. Who is Joe Ellis? Trans Black Hawk pilot wrongfully named in DC crash. You heard that time? Hold on. There's more. Daily Mail. The one I was just reading. Okay. The truth behind rumor DC crash Black Hawk co-pilot was this transgender service woman. There it is again. Need I say more? So I'm not amplifying anything. I'm talking about the news, mother lover. It's called the mother loving news, and I'm reporting it. Okay? Now, let's continue on. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Let me see this. FSC, figure skating coach. Thank you so much for the love. Pascal, thank you so much for covering this. Our wonderful skating community is heartbroken over this tragic event. Well, my heart goes out to all you guys. Real talk. So many young upcoming skaters lost their lives along with our great coaches. Please pray for our community. Yeah, my heart goes out to everybody. Real talk. And see, all of them. All the victims, every single last one of them, okay? Because everyone, I'm sure, is hurting right now. And I will say this too. Again, see, this is the problem. This is the problem of where we are at, okay? The narrative, once the narrative is said, there are just diehards that will just literally die on that hill for whatever's being said, instead of actually thinking for themselves for just 2 seconds and just looking at it. We watched it live in 4K. Not in 4K, but you know what I mean. We watched it live. We saw what was coming out of the president's mouth. We all reacted. I was watching y'all's reaction. It was massive. Okay? Of course, there's going to be people that are going to be just die hard and say whatever he says is the truth, and that's it is what it is. But at the same time, there are still other people out here, which is I'm thankful for, that will think for themselves, think critically and independently, and realize that there are some things that are being said that aren't right. And that moment was not right. Like I said, there were some things that he said in that speech that I actually agree with. But there was other things that he said, like that DEI stuff, that I was like, this is tone deaf and wrong timing, wrong time to put that kind of stuff out. And then, of course, this is why things have gotten messy right here, this stuff. But let's continue on. Buddy Love, what up, man? Thank you so much. Public backlash is stronger today than it was in 2010. Shaking my head. Absolutely. Because there wasn't internet. There wasn't a social media like this in 2010. You know what I mean? There was a little bit, but it wasn't as hardcore as it is now, right? It's insane now. It's incredibly insane. Grateful. Thank you so much for the love. People are crazy. He is dangerous as hell. Well, when he goes out and he says things like this, yes, this is where the danger kind of comes from. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, we will find out more information here soon. The investigation is still ongoing, but I'm hoping that they're transparent. They take accountability for what needs to be held accountable for, what they need to be held accountable for, and then they fix those problems, okay? And they fix those problems. JR, I didn't start no damn rumor. Oh, I thought you said you started the. You want to know? Okay, hold on, JR. I will. Hold on. Who started the rumor? Honestly, this all started sparking off on the internet, off of X. Okay, I will bring that up here. Hold on 1 second. Annie, thank you so much for the love here as well. But see, here's the thing. I don't need proof where it started. I don't know the origin story of where it started. This is what the news is covering. This is what people are talking about right now because it went crazy on the internet. So crazy on the internet to the point where this particular soldier had to go online and make a video and say, "Hi, it's me. I'm alive. Hi. I'm not the pilot. So stop putting my name out here. Keep my name out your damn mouth," type thing, right? Keep my name out your mouth. And that's exactly what's happening. So I don't need to go and dive into just to show proof positive. Oh, here's the origin of the story. No, this is what the internet has been doing since the press conference. They've been scouring the earth, and then Joe Ellis's name was put out here for no reason. No reason at all. Okay? No, JR. No, I'm not. 1 second. Michelle Woods, thank you so much. I will say this: no matter how much eggs are thrown in Trump's and the Republicans' face, they'll never acknowledge it and continue with the grand illusion. They'll never pull off. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, when it comes to certain things like this, yeah, okay, yeah. And I didn't say, I will say this too. I never said it was Republicans. I didn't say that. All I said is people hear what what Trump, our president, says. They take that as scripture and they run with it. And then they scour the internet and they go, oh, here's the person. Hold on. Before I go into these other super chats, in fact, let me see. Let me just see here really quick. Joe Ellis, because there's some crazy stuff that's been out here on the internet. Real talk. 1 second. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's one of them. Just one example. All right, over here, down here. I mean, this is just on the internet, okay, or just on X alone. But they're saying the pilot down, like they kind of retweeted something or screenshot it and shared this. So the pilot of the Black Hawk has been identified as Chief Warrant Officer 2, CW2. Joe Ellis, a transgender woman. Joe Ellis served in the Virginia National Guard for 15 years and transitioned while serving as a pilot. She has been making radicalized anti-Trump statements on socials. Okay, that's just one of them. Hold on, I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking because there's a few other ones here too. Because some other person was sitting there saying like that they wrote. Shoot. Here's another one. Hold on, guys. I got something for that. Look at this. Lone Star American apparently said, so Joe Ellis was apparently the Virginia National Guard pilot whose mental illness caused him to hate Trump horribly. Knowing this, S, gotta use these code words, was now seen as possible in the Black Hawk crash in D.C. outside of Reagan National. Was this flight path 3 earlier? Was this flight path 3 earlier attempts to collide? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe they were trying to maybe there was 3 different passes trying to take out take out the plane or something like that. But like I said, there's all kinds of crazy theories that are scouring the internet right now. Someone even said that there was someone even went to the extreme of saying that there was some sort of manifesto that was written and all that stuff before this collision happened, and then putting her face and her name on this. Like I said, that's ridiculous. Okay. Here's another one. Last interview of Black Hawk, okay, blah, 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 was this crash intentional? Look at this right here. Just one day before piloting the Black Hawk that collided in midair with a passenger jet over D.C., transgender military pilot Joe Ellis appeared on the Michael Smirkonish podcast. Full interview with transgender pilot who crashed Black Hawk. Transgender woman, blah, 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 military pilot, wrote a long letter about gender dysmorphia and depression one day before the fatal crash. Do I need to show you any more? Are you not entertained? do I need to show you any more? What happened may have been another trans-Terry attack. Need I say more? Are you not entertained? So I'm going to continue on now. These are all coming from the internet. People putting these things out. Here's the reason why. Let me just explain something to you. Here's the reason why the news is talking about this. It's because there have been multiple posts, viral posts, by the way, putting this particular soldier's face all over it, saying their name and all that stuff and saying, oh, yeah, she wrote this letter and all this stuff, like basically a manifesto, if you will, before this thing happened. When this person is still alive. This is what I mean by as soon as we hear something from the president, that's why I'm saying this is so incredibly important. This is reckless. It's extremely dangerous because there are people out here that are very much for Trump, and that's fine. No judgment here at all. But at the same time, they go out. He goes up on the microphone. He says DEI, and what's the next thing people do? They go ham on the internet trying to find out whether that person, where is the DEI? Where could the DEI be? And then they find one face and they go, bingo, Yahtzee, it's this particular transgender woman. We're going to run with that. Oh, and she wrote a letter. A letter about gender dysmorphia and depression one day before the fatal crash. This had to have been a Terry attack by a trans individual. They put it up on the internet, and that ish goes viral, especially to people who listen and believe everything the president says. Like I said, this gets dirty, this gets messy, and could potentially be extremely disastrous and dangerous for any innocent person that's just living their life. Oh, let's not forget, also serving our country as well. Let's not forget that too. Need I show any more? I think that's enough. Okay. Need I say more? But again, there are going to be people out here that are going to do everything they can to move the goalpost for their own narrative instead of thinking for themselves for 2 seconds. This person is still alive, mind you. Nowhere near the crash site. Fully intact. And from what we saw in the definite multiple angles that we've seen so far of this crash, not one scratch on their body. So if there's anyone out here that's trying to say, oh, yeah, that definitely is, she's lying. How's she still alive then? How's she walk out unscathed without a scratch on her body? That is a miracle, especially after seeing something like that. So again, you wanted the proof? I showed it to you. Hopefully that's enough. So again, pretty wild stuff, but I was about to go into this next thing, but let me get these super chats here really, really quick. Tipsy, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Pascal. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all. And again, we can agree to disagree. It's okay. Like I said, we're not going to agree all the time. We're not, but that's what makes us family. We are family. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Use your brain matter. Think for a second, and it's fine. How you think might be different than me. That's totally cool. I ain't mad at you. I still love you. I approve this message. Moving on. Mimi, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Let's be committed to the truth, not lies. Exactly. And I'm hoping that they're going to be transparent with the truth and not try to cover this ish up. And I feel like that could potentially happen, but I don't know yet. Still, everything is still up in the air. Now, do me a favor, guys, before we go into this next piece. All right. Do me this solid. All right. It's a simple ask. Hit that like button down below. Please hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Please and thank you. Subscribe. All right. And of course, check out all the other stuff. Follow if you're watching on other platforms. That would be amazing as well. Also, follow here if you're watching here. Okay. And thank you so much for the gifts and all that stuff. That's awesome. Thank you so very much. Okay. But please follow because there's, I'll be going live a lot more on the TikTok as well. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to conversate. And there's a lot going on in the world. But hold on real quick. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to do that. And it's Tipsy's birthday, or happy early birthday. So her birthday's coming up soon. So happiest of birthdays to Tipsy. Tipsy Gypsy, happy birthday, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Debbie, for the super chat and letting me know about that, okay? So give her some purple heart emojis in the chat, okay? She's a fire mod, and I appreciate her support and her energy on this show. So again, happiest of birthdays to you, Tipsy. I hope it's a wonderful one, okay? I hope you have your cake and you eat it too. That sounded weird, especially in the land of the diddler. Okay. Goo. So let's get on into this piece, okay? So this is something that's interesting as well. Washington, D.C. plane crash controller went home early before collision. Unusual deviation according to report, okay? So the Federal Aviation Administration says staffing levels were below the quote-unquote normal amount when the deadly plane crash occurred over Washington, D.C., and it looks like it was a decision made by a supervisor. The New York Times, citing an anonymous source, says an air traffic control supervisor combined with responsibilities of handling both helicopters and plane flight paths before the usual time. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. Citing an anonymous source, says an air traffic control supervisor combined the responsibilities of handling, combined the responsibilities of handling both helicopters and plane flight paths before the usual time, though it's currently not clear why. Basically, before 9:30 p.m., Reagan Washington National Airport has two controllers, one to handle the choppers and the other to handle the airplanes. And after 9:30, they transitioned to only one person because traffic lessens significantly. So what? Because of, is it a cutback in you know what I'm saying? Is it a cutback in funds or something like that? I don't know. That seems a little bit weird. However, New York Times says the supervisor combined the roles before 9:30, a deviation from the usual routine. We've reached out to Reagan National Airport to confirm, but either way, the FAA has already said staffers were, quote unquote, not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic. Interesting. There's been tons of speculation around what caused the crash, further spurred by President Trump, who suggests it to be diversity hiring initiatives led to the tragic incident, which, of course, we've already talked at lengths. As you know, an American Airlines flight carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members crashed, which we already know that, and 3 military personnel on board. Officials expect there are no survivors. So we already heard the audio of the air traffic controller urgently calling out to the helicopter moments before the crash, telling the crew to maneuver behind the plane. Okay, and this has also emerged. The FAA investigations remains ongoing. They've just recovered 2 black boxes, 2 of them from the plane. So we may soon have a better explanation about what went wrong. Now, what's interesting again about this, all right, is that if there were some sort of budget cuts of some sort, that would be very interesting. And of course, absolutely a detrimental and deadly decision. Because again, if you got one person working on both the plane and the helicopter, if they had another person there, they could have been able to have one talk to the helicopter and have one talk to the plane. But that particular person was cut for the day. We don't need you. There's less volume of landings and takeoffs at night. You're good. All because of budget cuts? Possibly, potentially budget cuts? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You know, the other thing I was thinking too is, why did it take them so long to talk to the helicopter? That's another piece I'm still kind of curious about as well. Why did it take them so long to radio in and talk to the helicopter? Because when we listen to the interaction, right? Their air traffic control talking to the helicopter, they're like, you see that plane, right? But that's moments before the collision actually happened. Why didn't that happen like at least a minute before? Hey, you're in this area. You're getting very close, brother. You need to turn, veer left, whatever, go down, go up to a higher altitude, whatever it may be. Why didn't they say anything well in advance? You are in the red zone. You need to turn left. Something of that sort, right? That's something that just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. So again, that's something that still needs to be answered as well. Why did the conversation happen seconds before the collision? That's not right. At least I would think that's not right. Wouldn't you say? Isn't that a little too little too late? If it's seconds before the collision, you're not sitting there going like, yo, the 30 seconds before, hey, we have a plane in the area, and you guys are getting in the, you guys are entering the red zone. You need to turn right now. Can you hear me? Can you confirm that you're going to turn? Or I'm going to tell the plane. I don't know what they're going to tell the plane. I don't know. Pull up or something like that. I don't know what they would have to do. But that's insane that it was seconds before collision rather than minutes or a minute before. That just seems odd, y'all. That just seems very, very odd. Now, let me, I'm trying to see if, because apparently someone said CNN did an interview. So I'm going to, that's loud, did something. So I want to check this out quickly. So they're saying flight simulator shows what flying into Reagan National at night.
I'm here with.
Interesting. This is a flight simulator. Okay. We got to check this out. This is fascinating. I'm glad that they're showing this too. Okay. And again, they're saying this is a flight simulator that shows what it really does look like flying into Reagan Airport. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this.
I'm here with Aaron Murphy. He's a commercial pilot. He's also a flight instructor. He has logged hundreds of hours in flight simulators like the one that we are in right now. And what he's doing is he's put up on this.
This looks so real. Doesn't that look so real? Oh, wow.
Simulation. This is what the approach to Reagan Airport would actually look like. Now, this is not a CRJ 700, it's a 737, but it gives you an idea of what these pilots would be, or any pilot for that matter, would be looking at on approach to Reagan, correct?
That's correct. So as you can see out the window right now, the only way you know there's a river beneath us is because of what we call a black hole. There is no definition. There are no lights. We know there's a bridge going across the river just ahead of us here, and that's how we know that's water. And of course, you know the area flying in here as a pilot, you would recognize, you would know already that is a river. But that's what it looks like at night.
When you're training these pilots.
Okay, so you can see this. I know you guys can't see this on TikTok, and I appreciate you guys rocking with me too. But I just want to make this abundantly clear. You can see, okay, at least in this flight simulator, that it's pitch black, but you see a bunch of lights, right? You see the lights on the ground from the houses and the street lights and all that stuff. But then at the same time, you look up and all you see is just lights. So you know for a fact that as you're flying down, you're going to see to the right of you a big helicopter with bright lights on. It was bright lights, guys. Bright lights. It wasn't just like a dim red blinking light in the darkness. It was a bright ball of light that was just in that area. So again, when you're going down and you're going, maybe the pilot was very trusting. The pilots were very trusting that and believing that the helicopter was going to pull away or turn or something. So they just kept going in their path. They kept going towards their descent, thinking that that particular helicopter was going to veer to the left or dip down or something of that sort. But they didn't do that, right? So again, that's very odd. And Buddy Love, I see what you're saying, but they had their lights on too. But the big ball of light that we see in the footage is the actual helicopter, because we see the helicopter like here, right? And then the plane off to the side is doing this. It's going fast because it's going about 145 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour, going down towards its descent. So the big ball of light that we see before the collision is the actual helicopter. The helicopter's moving in a slower path because the plane is going to its descent. So again, you'd be able to see that. So they must have been trusting of air traffic control, that air traffic control was going to control the actual helicopter, and that didn't actually happen. But you can see from this flight simulator itself, I mean, it's almost impossible to miss something like that. And I would say the same thing about the helicopter. It'd be impossible for them to miss that plane. So, like I said, this is just very, very odd. Let me get this too real quick. Buddy Love, again, thank you so much. Airlines and military use different radio frequencies. One air traffic controller has to switch between frequencies to talk. Yes, and that also, thank you so much for that clarification too, because that would be impossible too. So as you're talking to the helicopter, now you got to switch over to the other one to talk to the plane, and you're operating both frequencies both at the same time, trying to talk to both of them. Yeah, it's almost in a way like I got to pick one or the other. I got to either talk to strictly the jet or talk to the helicopter. And maybe the air traffic controller decided to talk with the helicopter because the helicopter can maneuver a lot faster than a jet. And maybe they were like, oh, we need to talk. I'm going to talk to the helicopter because they can just dip down fast, or they can veer off to the right really fast without hitting the plane. You see what I'm saying? And maybe that's why the air traffic controller decided to stay with or try to conversate with the helicopter here. But like I said, the possibilities are endless here, guys. Okay. It was insane. Okay. We're probably going to have to come back and look at this another time, but let me play just a little bit more of this right here. Hold on, guys.
I'm on the edge of tears constantly. I am so in tune with the families and the friends and everyone who was affected by this incredible accident. Let's get on with what everybody needs to know. Flying into any airport at night is an increased risk, increased challenges. The human physiology, we can start with that. Your vision is not quite the same in darkness as it is in light, and I think most of us know that already. So coming into an airport, any airport in the world, literally, where there are other aircraft, most definitely there's going to be airplanes. That becomes something you have to mitigate, a risk that must be mitigated, and that mitigation is done through training and procedures. And the only way to really be sure that training and procedures work is we must apply them to the real world situation and analyze very closely what further risks and what further issues are occurring in the operations.
So I want to dive a little bit deeper into that, because you have said that pilots flying into DCA have to have specialized training to fly into that area. Why is that, and what does that look like?
The DC airport, the Reagan National, is just so busy, and the airspace is a little bit compressed because of all the restricted airspace with the government buildings surrounding. The density of the traffic. You need specific training and you need specific guidance when it's your first couple of times into this airport, and that's true of all the major airlines. They will receive that additional extra training for this airport in particular.
Yeah, because you've called the DC area, that airspace, a hot spot. What makes this airspace just so complicated? And how do you think the fact that the FAA is now indefinitely banning helicopter routes in that area will play a role and help out?
The number one threat, as we'll call it, would be the helicopter routes, and they're flying beneath the aircraft in a routine way. We look at the statistics of that particular interaction, and so far it's been okay. Near misses there's been a few in the area, that's for sure. What we have found out, of course, now too late, that the procedures and the training for this specific threat, this specific airport, clearly is not the best way to be doing this.
That's crazy.
So tell me a little bit more about the TCAS system, or if you're still there, because that's supposed to alert aircraft if there's going to be, the potential for a collision. Why didn't that prevent this from happening here?
That's a great question, Pamela. I'm obviously in the captain's seat of the 737, and in the center pedestal area, right between the pilots, is where the TCAS system is typically located. The TCAS shares a little box with what's called the transponder, and the TCAS itself is a traffic collision avoidance system. So it has a TA and an RA. The TA is the traffic advisory. So it's going to put up information on the navigation displays to tell the pilots where the airplanes are in the local area. Now, the targets are changing their positions on this screen. These targets are also showing their elevation, their changes in elevation as well. So it's very helpful to be able to see that. And as the targets move closer to your target, and in our case, we have a white triangle on the navigation display. You probably can't see this very well. The targets will change color, and then the system will call out traffic. If you're not really alert or you haven't noticed it yet, traffic.
So, wow. Okay. So what he's explaining here, and I think this is very interesting, is that he's saying that, there's alerts that go off, especially if something's too close to you. So now he's saying that there's something that goes off if, like, say, a helicopter is within your vicinity. It'll say, traffic. Like, I've seen it in movies, you know what I mean? Where, like, if the plane is getting too low to like a mountainous area, in these action movies, it'll say like, pull up, or whatever we'll say, right? Low terrain, something of that sort, right? So this one is like, traffic, like there's something in the way. You want to get out of the way. So that's very interesting, right?
And we're already ahead of that for sure. So that's the advisory section of that. The resolution, the RA resolution is where, when that aircraft, that threat becomes too close to our aircraft, I will actually get indications on my primary flight display, and it will tell me, climb now. These systems are interconnected between the aircraft, independent of air traffic control and human intervention. So the other aircraft will receive a descend now. So the airplanes are doing two different things. The fastest way to get away from another person or another object is the opposite direction. All right. So that's extremely important.
So then it tells you like to drop, right? Like to get out the way. So the jet must have gotten some sort of alert a little bit before the crash actually happened. It had to have, unless that radar or that alert turned off or malfunctioned. That's possible too. But you got to remember the aircraft was built. It was an older aircraft. It's not like it was a brand new aircraft, the jet. So that is very interesting that he would sit, that the aircraft wasn't sitting there saying like, that it possibly wasn't alerting the plane at all. Because how could this have happened without fair warning for the plane to go, oh snap, let's drop or let's pull up, right? Let's go up to a higher altitude real quick, right? Something's odd here, y'all. Something's very odd. Let me let him finish what he's saying. Hold on.
I just want to lead us into how this could possibly have not worked in this situation.
Yeah,
in
no
the
doubt.
specific situation of arriving at Reagan National and the circling approach or even the straight-in approach to 01, the circle to 33, the issue here is that the TCAS was the TCAS was indicating correctly and probably giving warnings. There is an inhibit below 1,000 feet. The screens would be showing the information. Air traffic control is guiding the aircraft and making sure separation is maintained. And this is where it leads into some questions I have regarding the actual ATC communications. And this is not a blame. Nobody in this situation is to blame. This is an extremely busy airport with an extremely high rate of operation, and its procedure and its training that are the downfalls of this situation, things that we have created that are not quite good enough. We need to improve on that.
You just heard that. So he's like, and this is kind of the reaction that I would expect from any person, any leader or any person that is the head of any of these, FAA or the NTSB or any of that stuff, right? Saying, hey, we're trying to figure it all out. Something went wrong. What it was, don't know. Can't blame it on one thing, can't blame it on the other until we get all the facts, until we get everything in place. But for sure, he's saying if the things would have been going off, all the alerts would have been going off, all the warning signs, all the noises and all the bells and whistles basically saying like too close, or, incoming, you know what I mean? Like traffic, any of those things would have been said, would have been going off in that plane. So why wasn't the plane? What did the plane do? Why didn't? Because of course, from where we see it in our vantage point, all the videos that we've seen, we don't see the plane dip, but maybe the plane was literally trying to dip at that moment. God only knows. Maybe it tried to do it at the very last minute, or maybe their alerts did not go off at the right time. That's also still possible here, guys. But this is so crazy. And again, so tragic. My heart goes out to every single person that has been affected by this. And I know this is an international situation. We are all very much affected by this information. I still can't believe this, guys. I still can't believe this. My mind is still very blown on this as well. And of course, hopefully they'll figure some things out. And again, hopefully if there is someone that needs to be held accountable for this, they're held accountable for it. But one more thing, there is an ex-Black Hawk pilot that talks. We got to check this out, okay? This is the last thing we're going to check out, but there is an ex-pilot, ex-Black Hawk helicopter pilot. She is also female. For all the DIBS that's out here in the world, she is also female, and she speaks out on CNN. We have got to take a look at this. She says she believes 3 things went wrong in this particular collision. Let's hear what they got to say too. Let's rock and roll, guys. And of course, you're not going to be able to hear it over here. I'll try to pause and give you guys the updates here on TikTok. So just ride with me, okay? I appreciate you guys rocking with me over here. Don't forget to follow here. Follow, okay? There's going to be a lot more live discussions over here. Very impromptu stuff. So make sure you are, locked in and following this page over here on TikTok. Of course, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here too on the YouTubes. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please and thank you. I'd love to see it get to 1K. We're almost there. If you can get it to 1K, I'd be so appreciative, okay? I'd really appreciate it. So hit that like button down below. Let's get it to 1K. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, please and thank you. Let's get into this, all right? And, of course, I have a couple super chats that I'll get to in just a minute. But we definitely have got to hear what this former Black Hawk helicopter pilot has to say about this whole thing. What are these 3 things that went wrong that she believes could have gone wrong here?
Cormack, a former Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and Cedric Layton, CNN military analyst and retired Air Force colonel. Elizabeth, let me start with you. An Army pilot who has flown Black Hawk helicopters like you in this area around Reagan National Airport told CNN's reporter Haley Pritzky that the Army's flights are routinely planned down to the tiniest detail. This pilot said that based on the risk, the briefer will approve or disapprove parts of the flight plan. That assessment is then run by the unit's commander, then submitted to the FAA. So if it went through all of those levels, the question, of course, is just how could this have happened?
Well, I believe there's 3 things that happened. If it had just been one, it wouldn't have been an issue, but three different things happened. First of all, they only had a crew of 3. And if you're flying a visual flight plan in a crowded airspace like this, they really should have had 2 crew chiefs in the back of the helicopter to clear each side, as the pilots only have visibility from straight ahead 12 to 3 o'clock, or 12 from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So you only have visibility of the front 180 degrees. Your crew chiefs clear the back. If you only have 1 crew chief, how much can you clear?
So she's saying there was, and we just talked about this. Somebody else just said in a super chat, but they're basically saying, or she's basically saying that there was only 3 people on the plane or in the aircraft in this helicopter, where 4 should have been in there, right? And that's interesting too. Maybe, like I said, it was a training thing. Maybe they were like, we'll be fine. Let's just go up. We don't need to have 4. It's just a simple little training route, exercise. But still, if they were following the rules or following criteria, maybe this thing would not have happened. I don't know, but this is very interesting.
I think that was a major issue.
So
and
that's
so
interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep going. Well, so are you saying instead of a crew of 3, it should have been a crew of 4? How many people should have been on the helicopter? And then please continue with your other 2 points.
Yes, so 3 is a minimum crew for a Black Hawk helicopter. In my opinion, when you're going into visual flight mode in a crowded airspace like this, it should be a minimum of 4. So you have a pilot on each side for visibility. That's the first one. The second one is, it is, whether they were on night vision goggles at that time or not, it is a very cluttered airspace with a lot of lighting and the lights reflecting on the river. And so with that, it's easy to kind of get a little disoriented as far as the height. They were supposed to be at 200 feet, which is the helicopter routing in that area, and it wouldn't have been a conflict. But
hold on. But don't they have, okay, she just said it could be, for those of y'all who are watching on TikTok, she says that there could be a reason of the altitude, and then of course the lights blaring off the water. Now, and then they may not have known what kind of altitude that they were at. But don't they have instruments in the helicopter to tell them exactly where they are, or as far as like the altitude that they're in? So that would be weird for them not to read the instruments that they have in the Black Hawk. Does that make sense? It would just be weird for them not to read that and go, okay, we're 400 feet. Or we're higher than what we are, than the altitude in which we're supposed to be in right now. Let's lower this down. So you can read the instruments in the doggone helicopter, and that should solve that issue. As far as not being able to see because of the glare off of the water, I don't know. That I don't know. But again, she's just exercising all possibilities. Okay.
But they were not at 200 feet. Obviously, reportedly the incident happened at around 350 to 400 feet.
Yeah.
As the airliner was descending.
They were up
there. That they were at the wrong height. So that's a pilot error. The first would be a policy error or choice. And then the third is air traffic control said, do you have the CRJ in sight? Well, there were two aircraft in their field of view, and actually only one was really obvious to them. And that was if you watch the video, the aircraft taking off in the foreground is probably the one they were facing, the pilots were facing, and said, yeah, I got it. The air traffic control should have said, do you have the aircraft at 5 o'clock? So they were looking at the rear.
Hold on really quick. I could see that point, but you mean to tell me that they were flying backwards? You see what I'm saying? Do you see that plane that's flying? Because the plane that was flying, that was taking off, was basically off to the right. So if they're like, yeah, we see it, were they going backwards? See, like I said, it just like, or maybe, and it's a helicopter, so a helicopter can go backwards, forwards, sideways. It can hover, right? So it can definitely go backwards. So maybe they were going backwards. Oh, damn. That's bad. So it could have very well been, wow. It could have very well been just a straight up accident like that if they were going backwards and they weren't looking behind themselves. That is possible. They could have been like, yeah, we're moving out the way. And then bang. Yeah, but Black Hawk helicopters can do a lot. All right. They can do a lot. But that's the Okay, let's continue on. Hold on. We're okay. We're gonna continue playing because I just got a super chat here. Gia is saying the bright light is the plane and the helicopter is coming from the left. That's not how we see it. The helicopter is the plane is the thing that's coming in quick. The plane is coming in from the left. The helicopter is the bright light. At least that's from my understanding. Now, I don't know. Maybe some of y'all see it different, but I see it different. And yes, they did get the black boxes, so they have those as well. But let's continue on. But still, this is weird. This is very weird.
If they had done that, the Black Hawk is maneuverable. The Black Hawk could have moved out of the way quickly. They can move on a dime and make that happen.
Boom.
And it wouldn't have happened.
Cedric, that's one of the most informed explanations I've heard of what possibly went wrong that I've yet. Thank you so much for that. Do you agree with what you had to say?
Yeah, basically I do, Jake. Elizabeth has obviously a wealth of experience with this. And when you look at the way in which the crews are set up for Black Hawk helicopters, that's a critical thing. You know, you've got the mission planning piece that you mentioned. And as Elizabeth was explaining, there are also so many concerns that they have to really look at, including not only the weather and not only air traffic considerations, but also what kind of things they can expect in terms of topographical features and things like that. And that should be a given.
Look, see right here. I know you guys can't see this on TikTok, but here it is. You have the helicopter right here. And like I said, the bright light is the helicopter. So what we see on the right of the screen, that big ball of light, is the helicopter. What we see on the left that's coming in fast like this is the actual plane. All right. So look at it in jurisdiction of the where the camera was. All right. And this is how it is right here. So it's going, so either it was going head on into the plane, or it could have been like, no, we see the other plane taking off. We're backing up, and they backed up quick and ran right into the plane, into the actual jet. That's possible. Okay. But that's, the camera's at the airport, but there's other angles here. Hold on. We're going to look at that here in a second. Okay. Let's continue on.
But there are things that change sometimes. Sometimes there's new construction and things like that. And so they have to have as much meticulous planning as possible. And if that planning isn't taken into consideration and isn't done in the right way, then of course there could be significant consequences. Not saying that happened here, of course.
Right. We don't know. We're just trying to make informed observations about what possibly happened. Obviously, Elizabeth says that the Black Hawk was supposed to be at 200 feet, and it was actually at 350.
Okay, so of course we already know about the altitude and all that as well. But let's take a look at the footage one more again, because now you guys got me all mixed up, all turned around. Okay, but let's take a look at this. So hold on. So this is on, I don't know where this is being shot at, okay, where this is, but this big bright light, okay, that to me is the Black Hawk. You're going to see something coming in right over here in just a second. That to me is the plane. All right. Some of y'all are saying that this is the plane. Okay. Put a number 1 in the chat if you think that this bright light is the plane. So I'm going to play it again. So this coming in right here is, hold on. So you mean to tell me that this right here is the helicopter? What's coming in here is the helicopter, and this is the plane. Okay, I had it backwards then, because it looks to me like the big bright light right here, it looks like they're kind of hovering in a way. And then this, of course, is the plane flying in. But okay, I'll take y'all's word for it. No, it's on my YouTube. Okay, guys, just so you know. But I'm just playing it really quick. We've played it a million times over. But to me, the blinking light and everything, to me, that looks like plane. But see, that's what I'm saying. See, I agree with that too. This thing is hovering, y'all. Come on, man. This plane, the planes can't hover. Planes are gonna just move. They keep moving around. You know what I mean? Even when they have the a bunch of planes landing, you'll see planes they'll just fly in a circle. They just constantly fly in a circle until it's time to go down. This plane, this helicopter is hovering. This is going into an angle. It's going into its descent. This right here. This is the helicopter. This is the plane. All right, let me play it. Let me play the audio. See what she says.
To the videos. The first video we want to show you, the bright light that you see at the top is the American Airlines jet as it approached the runway. Then you see the helicopter flying directly in.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, my bad. I was so mixed up because I think that because it's how it's hovering, it looks like it's hovering, right? Damn. Okay, you got me. Okay. Planes don't hover. They don't. But that angle does look like, but it's not going backwards either. It doesn't look like it's going backwards. So this plane literally did T-bone just like that. Bow, right? That's crazy.
Much more to that. Let's get to the videos. The first video we want to show you, the bright light that you see at the top is the American Airlines jet as it approached the runway. Then you see the helicopter flying directly into the frame and directly into the plane. Both aircraft immediately then crashing down into the...
That is insane. Okay. Thank you. I was like, what? Because of how it looks, I keep thinking, oh, okay, that's the plane coming in like this, and then you got this, okay? But yeah, thank you so much for that correction. But damn, okay, but even so, still, it's the plane getting T-boned by the helicopter. So it's not like, and it looks like the helicopter isn't going backwards. It does not look like the plane is going backwards. It looks like it's going straight in. So again, how could they not see the plane? It just doesn't make sense, guys. But thank you so much for that clarification, because I was seeing it flipped around. But again, this is insane. And this is some pretty clear stuff. That's so odd. But again, guys, yeah, Nicole B, it's like it is definitely intentional if you see it. Like it looks intentional. Bang. So T-boned indeed. T-boned indeed. So again, if they're like, yeah, we see the other plane taking off, I don't think it was a mistake on, can you see the other plane taking off? Avoid that plane. No, I don't see that at all. I see this gives off a vibe of being deliberate. But again, I could be wrong. All right. And of course I'm hoping that they get some answers, because you got to remember, there's been so many other crazy things that have been going on since New Year's Eve. And some of these people are former soldiers. Some of them are soldiers. There's just been a lot of maddening things that have happened over the shoot. We ain't even done with January yet. Okay, guys? We ain't even done with January right now. We ain't even done with January. And we still are dealing with things like this. What's going on? Okay? What's going on? And are they really going to give us full transparency on what actually happened here? I'm hoping that they do. We'll see what happens. Mimi, thank you so much for the love. What a bad week. Love you. Love to you, mods. Yeah. And y'all. Yes, absolutely. It's been it's been 31 days. Let me just say that. It's been 31 days, y'all. 31. Have mercy. 31 days. Grace, thank you so much for the love and being a member for the past 19 months. I appreciate it. My take, either it was an S mission, like we're using code words, if you get what I'm saying. It was a unthinkable type of thing, type of mission, or disgruntled / pissed about Trump's changes and did this to make a political statement. I hope the families get some answers. I'm hoping too, because that could be it, may not. This could be a political thing, some sort of protest, some sort of Terry attack, because we got to use these code words, unfortunately. Maybe, maybe not. But that is a theory nonetheless. Gia Pet, thank you so much. Gia, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Nikki, thank you so much for the love again. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the support. But still, something's fishy about this. Something's definitely, something's not smelling right. The math ain't mathing. And at some point, there's got to be some transparency and accountability here and some truth exposed. Will we get that here soon? I don't know, but we'll see what happens. We will. And I appreciate you guys helping me clarify the lights and because in my mind I'm like, it's hovering, so that's the helicopter, and here comes the plane. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you guys being helping me out and clarifying that. Okay, thank you so very much. But still, this is crazy. Okay, what did Glitter say now? Someone definitely is not slicker than snot on a doorknob. Yeah. I mean, this is something's odd, something's off, and I'm hoping at some point we get some transparency and some realness here, because I think that's what we need. This is weird. But I want the facts, not just agenda, not just political rhetoric. I want facts. Michelle Woods, how you doing? Thank you so much. I live in the northeast of Philly, and near the Northeast Philly airport. I do get confused on whether planes going by my house are hovering like a helicopter. It just depends on a line and distance, like an alignment and distance of it. Yeah, like that. Like I said, I was like looking at it and I'm like, it's hovering. So that's got to be the helicopter. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys helping, just hold my hand. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have it off. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to hear the facts loud and clear one more time. Because, I've seen the other angles, and the other angles look different. You see what I'm saying? So this one, wow. Crazy. But hopefully we will get some new information and new facts here very, very soon. If there is another press conference, like an actual press conference revolving around this situation, we will watch it, we will talk about it, and we will go through it. Okay. Give it time, because it's still coming out, bits and pieces. It's all coming out in due time. And when it does, we'll talk about it. But again, be careful, okay, where you're getting the information from. Make sure it is from reliable sources, not just some person on social media just making things up or creating stuff just to stir the pot, just so that they can be the first to say something. All right. I know not everybody likes mainstream media. Some of y'all go MSM. But at the same time, I'm just saying we got to check. We got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Okay? Like I said, chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's it. Okay? But we will hear something soon, I'm sure. There's going to be new information coming out the gate here very, very soon. Trust and believe. We will be talking about it. So, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all. It really means a lot. Big Girl for Life, thank you so much for the love. They haven't released the third person on Heli. Yeah, they haven't. And I keep wondering why. I'm wondering if they're worried about releasing it and then they're getting backlash for it. All we know is that third person on the helicopter is female. That's all we know. And maybe they're worried about the backlash because the political atmosphere, because of the political climate that we're in right now. I don't know. But hopefully they get that information out soon so we can find out what really went down here, because there has to be something has to unearth here. Was this deliberate? Was this a bold-faced freak accident? That's still possible too. Hopefully we'll find out soon. I appreciate all y'all for being here again. It really means a lot. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, please, and thank you. All right. Do not forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on the X. If you're watching on the TikTok, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow me on Facebook, X/Twitter, and Rumble. I'm live on all of those. Okay? Show some love. Follow me on all those platforms, please, and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Show some love. Subscribe, baby. Subscribe over there. Make sure both notification bells are set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random and a lot of times it's breaking news. All right? So go and do that. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, do not forget thepascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. I guarantee you're going to see something in there you're going to love, or you're going to love for your loved ones. All right, so go check it out. All right, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so go check it out. All right, but anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. Stay safe out there, guys. Have a good, positive rest of your day. Talk to you guys soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.